religion, spirituality, tradition, and anything and everything that is human, no exception to this, exists in culture and is a cultural product. Because of that, all religion and all tradition, all spirituality is affected very deeply by the assumptions of a culture.
Well, in the Mexican culture and the Mexican traditions or whatever, homosexuality it's really, bad. They consider it bad.
They don't accept the fact that someone could that someone could be in a relationship with the same sex.
You have a culture that has assumed, that is very self-evident, that you should be either a man or a woman in the straight mode. Anyone who is not either, there's something sick, wrong, or detestable about them.
I think it's hard for many men or many boys of color to deal with their sexuality because there's so much peer pressure.
There tends to be this notion of machismo, with, where a man is a man.
There are other groups that acknowledge that they have members who are not straight. And some of them have dealt and do deal with these groups within their communities by pushing them to the margins, by saying, don't ask, don't tell, pretend that you don't exist.
It's kind of hypocritical almost, or ironic, how my culture views sexuality, in that, well, if you look at Taiwan, recently they passed a gay marriage law where people can get married. But then, if you look at traditional Asian culture, it's just something that's just taboo and not talked about at all whatsoever. There's no representation. We're completely invisible.
If in a culture it is assumed as perfectly natural that there should be diversity in sexual orientation, the religions, the spiritualities, and so on within that culture would then somehow come up with religious theories that will explain how natural it is, how divinely established it is, that there should be variations in sexual orientation, etc., etc.
I come from a very rich background of medicine men and women. My whole family line is saturated with holy people. Most native cultures actually honored the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgendered person in their tribe. They were almost always the individual that became a medicine man, that became a medicine woman.
I think that how Buddhism looks at LGBT people is more just, okay, live your life. If you're happy, that's really what life is all about, to be happy and to live fully and to enjoy what life has to offer.
The Yoruba religion in the Americas has been notoriously tolerant of homosexuals and lesbians, notoriously tolerant, and not just tolerant. They believe that homosexuality is a gift. So it's not just we'll accept you, it is we want you. You have something to bring that we need.
This past quarter I had this big ol' realization event. At one point I thought I was dying, and I was just really freaked out, and so I started praying, and that's that was my only answer to or my only way of keeping me sane. I started praying to God, and I was I swear if I just help me get through this. And it sounds retarded or insignificant, but it was just really it impacted me in such a way where it's just I realized wow, I'm doing all these little stupid things, and I'm not looking at the bigger things that that's out there. It's been hard for me to go to Mass this past quarter, because I've been working every weekend and going back and stuff. It's difficult. But yeah, I try to go to Mass as often as possible.
I'm not really religious. But then if you think about it, I guess I am. I mean, when you take ideas of Buddhism and you incorporate it into your life, then you're incorporating religion into your life.
I don't go to church or anything, but I meditate and I have my own beliefs. There's a really great Taoist thought that it's not about going through this darkness in order to get to the light at the end of the tunnel. Your life is the tunnel, and that's all that you have. And so I really, really, really believe that. There's no light at the end. This is light. And I think we should radiate this light.
Being a Native American Christian lesbian is definitely a very unique experience. I think it's kind of given me a different perspective on seeing how now it seems like this, conservative Christian dynamic has been trying to kind of hurt gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgendered people by saying God hates you. God thinks you're this abomination. It's part of my responsibility to who I am. It's part of my responsibility to stand up and speak for people who don't have the strength to speak for others. To be able to say, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with people saying God hates you because you're Native. I'm not okay with people saying God hates you because you're gay, because it's not true. God is a God of love, not hatred.